I think it's critical, science and technology, because they're moving so quickly. Fundamentally, science also just asking those questions, you know, where do we come from? Where are we going? So those really big questions for humanity. As a rocket scientist myself, an engineer, then we're technologists, so trying to develop the technologies for humanity. Always, as an engineer, we always design and develop technologies for the benefit of humanity. So we need to remember that in our science and technology. My specialty is trying to get humans to the moon and Mars, becoming interplanetary. All of that exploration and science and technology, I think we need to remember it's to look back on Earth, to look back on spaceship Earth. Humanity is here. This is the #1 planet. Moon and Mars are just to explore and try to find the evidence of life in the universe, which I think we'll find. We've always been curious. Humanity is, you know, curiosity and looking over the horizon. From the early sailing ships, now in space, we're still looking over the horizon of the solar system. You know, why? Because we're so curious. We want to know where we come from. We want to project that into the future. And so I think science is that wonderment in terms of humanity, what we can be. And when it comes to spaceflight, it's also trying to do impossible things and making them possible. And that raises up human potential. We think it's impossible, but let's try it. If we get it right, it's fantastic. And we fail a lot too. At NASA, I gave an award for failure. I said, fail smart. Because yeah, the more we fail, the more we learn, and then we'll try it again and try it again. Well, I love it. That's the holistic view. That's what education should be, learning should be. Bringing in, you know, I've dedicated my whole life to STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. But I don't call it STEM, I call it STEAM. I always bring in the arts. We're nothing without the visionaries, without the artists, without the journalists, without our historians. And I put a D on the end, STEAMed, for the makers. You know, the 3D makers, a whole new generation of people making things from their mind all the way down to their hands. So we really need to span across the disciplines. You have so much to teach me, you know, as a journalist and a reporter, right? I might be able to teach you something about rocket science. So it's really having the discussions across the disciplines, I think, are the most interesting and also the most important, because we have amazing challenges for the world. Climate change, my specialty is exploration, just even clean water. And what about living peacefully together? So I think it's really in the dialogue and coming together in diverse and inclusive crowds that we're going to really come up with some of the solutions to humanity's major challenges. Yeah, well, it's huge. I think it's the world's largest book fair. The numbers are astonishing. I heard maybe 800,000 people through, or close to 100,000 people per day. So that just shows you the excitement, right, of learning and books and knowledge. It just shows you, that's the best example of how curious people are and everyone wanting to have that knowledge of current books, but think about the ancient wisdoms. Think about all of that wisdom. How lucky are we today to live in this world where I still love real books and printed, but also the electronic media, that now we can really explore the world. I've always been fascinated with the Mayan civilization. Well, guess what? Nothing like, it used to be hard to get some good books written on it in the United States. Well, now you can look at anything. I'm actually studying some Egypt, ancient civilizations of Egypt, right? To learn about, again, where do we all come from? What are those ancient civilizations? Where's that ancient wisdom? Because I think the wisdom over the thousands and tens of thousands of years is critically important today for humanity going forward. Oh, I want to talk to the girls and boys out there that are the students, because they're the next generation of astronauts. They're the explorers, and they literally will be boots on the moon. We'll have humanity on the moon, and maybe hopefully in 10, 15 years we'll get people to Mars. There'll be a few people. I hope there's a Mexican astronaut there. We're working all together. And the most important thing of all of our space travel and our space exploration is, again, to learn here about spaceship Earth. So all of us are astronauts here on Earth. And so let's take care of the Earth and think about how we can accelerate positive change here for our home planet. #1 planet. Did I mention that? Earth is my #1 planet.